All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, and Kakwadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity, and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe that's also fearing and believing on the name of Yahweh by Hashem Shai and waiting for the day of salvation, which is the day of our redemption. And my brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, and shortly, Lord willing, Elder Yashawamba Salaka. Shortly, in a minute, Elder Yashawamba might, Lord willing, pop in, and so I'm just giving updates. But today's lesson is entitled "Jake is in a perpetual state of arrested development," and when you look at the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American men, I'm speaking of the men right now, and even the women are in a perpetual state of arrested development as well, right? You get men out here that's supposed to be at a what they call a grown age or age of maturity, but then either they peak, Salakia, brother. Either they peak at their particular age and they just never grow past that. There's a saying about even women, like women don't mature past the age of, was it like 15 or something like that? And you see it. You see a 50-year-old woman dressed as she acting and dressing like she's 20 years old, right? Trying to stay perpetually young, right? They're afraid to get old. And mainly with women, it's the cause of it is vanity, right? Women want to stay valuable in the eyes of men in the world, whether they want to admit it or not. They're trying to stay valuable. That's why they want to keep that perpetual look. You'll see somebody that's like 70 years old get a bunch of plastic surgery on their face, thinking that they look good, and they actually look like monsters, but they're trying to keep this perpetual youthful look. You know, you see a lot of that in Hollywood. And even with Jake and their behavior, grown-ass men, Salakia. Hey, Shalom, Zaquan. How about Shem Shai? About Shem Shai? That's what it
Oh shit, you live?
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna pop in. I can stop it.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a second.
Hold on.
Give me a second. Hold on, brother. I'm gonna have to restart this.
You good? You good? We just saw my drummer.
Time.
First, it will guide you down to a physical location.
Go ahead. I'll be in there.
So, matter of fact, let me mute this mic real quick. So, again, Jake, they're in a constant state of arrested development, which I have the definition of arrested development as well. So, for you brothers that are not privy to what arrested development is, right? And it's not that it's and Shalom Zaquan Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Gadash Bagatah.
Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Shabakatah.
Kind of, so like I was just briefly saying, we just started about 4 minutes ago. The title of this lesson is Jake is in a perpetual state of arrested development. And that was inspired actually by this picture right here that you see. You got those remember this character from Boys in the Hood, they call his name Dookie. Yeah. You know, it'd be a grown-ass man named Dookie.
Right. Through.
He threw. Niggas, everybody's scared of Dookie. You know what I'm saying? He done shot up a bunch of people, done been in and out of the prison. You know, he come home just a beast. You got it, brother.
Yeah, he'll beat your ass too.
Yeah, Dookie. And nobody wants to get beat up by a nigga named Dookie, but point of the matter is this picture says a lot. You know, they say something, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And when you look at this is a man that's in the state of arrested development. And mind you, a lot of these images came from, they came from what they call, oh my God, I'm losing the train of thought. They came from pop culture, right? They came from pop culture. So like this movie, there was a movie back in the day called Boys in the Hood, directed by what's his guy name? John Singleton, right? And in the movie, he was supposed to be showing basically a version of how he grew up in South Central Los Angeles, right? And so these different characters that you see within the movie, they go through their own stage of development, right? So like that nigga, like the nigga Dookie, he was surrounded by Ice Cube's character was the main character of his group. He was like the second character in the movie. And so this guy, he rode around with his friends doing nothing all day, just being niggas. You know what I'm saying? Gang banging, sitting on the porch, drinking beer, sucking on a fucking pacifier. Now, a pacifier, you're supposed to get rid of a pacifier when a child is still like almost an infant. It's just a pacifier is something that one of you brothers can put the definition for a pacifier. It's basically supposed to pacify whatever you need for the moment, right? So that pacifier was a what they call it, a substitute for the nipple, right? For the breast, right? When a woman wasn't leaking milk right away, or she was busy, they would give him the pacifier to pacify his thirst until it's satiated, right? And so I don't know if brothers got kids. I know I have children, so I remember one of my daughters. She used to use a pacifier a lot, and eventually start fucking up her teeth, right? So we had to take the pacifier away, and the teeth corrected itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. It's for babies, and Esau want to keep Jake in a baby mindset, and Jake likes it. Like I got pictures. This is going to be the title page, but you got characters like Sauce Walker, like these rapper niggas. This nigga got fucking barrettes in his head like a girl, like so he's quasi homosexual baby. But this, you put barrettes in a little girl's head. Niggas got ballies in their hair, right? And niggas really think that shit cool. Like this nigga Drake, he put it in his hair, and then it says Sauce Walker. Shout out to my boy Champagne Poppy and the whole OVO. My boy done joined the Bobos gang. Bobos get you more hoes, drip, splash. You know what I'm saying? So a nigga with barrettes in his head supposedly gets more women, right? But a real man, especially a man of the Lord, you're not gonna be outside looking like this, bro. This is a grown ass man, and they wanted this shit to catch on. I guess this was some shit that they did in Houston. But remember, the character Dookie, you be afraid of a nigga named Dookie, a nigga with barrettes in his head. You gotta watch out, because a nigga like I know you from the West Coast, and we used to see pictures and like videos and movies on the East. Them niggas, them gang banging niggas with rollers in their head.
Yeah.
Rollers in their head, bro.
Right.
That's arrested development, bro. Right. Those are signs and symptoms of arrested development. The behavior that Jake exhibits.
Right. Esau basically he keeps Jake in a childlike state of mind, and basically you can't children have no judgment.
Yep.
They need leaders, and ultimately we're supposed to be led by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Yep.
And coming to the point of judges, that's what we were put on the earth. The nation of Israel are literally, starting with the elect, are supposed to be the judges of the earth.
Yeah.
But Esau, to separate us from our power, he's giving you black culture. He's giving you confusion. He's giving you pseudoscience. He's giving you rebellion in the form of a culture.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
You look at what it breeds nothing but degeneracy and things that aren't conducive to life or the kingdom, man.
Yeah. Yeah, a man that can't get past his child state, he can't be a judge. And Jake don't want to see themselves as judges. Real quick, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 1. And if you want to share your screens, Aquan, you feel free. But this Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, well, the scripture says right here, the title, the Most High will remove the leaders, right? For behold, the Lord, and you can break this down too, Zaquan. For behold, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff of the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water.
Yeah, and the leadership were doing wickedness, man. The priest, they were doing wickedness. We can go to the book of Ezekiel. We ain't got to get it, but what did the Lord show Ezekiel? He gave him a vision of what was going on in the temple, man, over in Jerusalem. Yeah. See, and because of that, you have a judgment. Zephaniah prophesied that hell was coming on Jake for the wickedness that they did a few hundred years before it happened.
Yeah.
You see, and now, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, these are prophets that are on the earth witnessing the judgment that the Lord prophesied upon our people come to pass.
Yep.
And we're basically, this is where we are.
Yeah.
Well, we're literally getting ready to see prophecy come to pass. Go ahead.
Now I was going to say that's why the scripture says the whole head is sick.
Right.
Right. When you look at Jake from the top to the bottom, they're through.
Yeah.
Right. And it started with the leadership. It started with the leadership. Everything starts with the leadership. When you look at Hellenism and how Hellenism affected the Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, it was the wealthy elite or aristocratic Jakes that really ushered in that Hellenism that changed Jake's mindset for millennium. You know what I'm saying? To the point where they wanted to be like the heathen, which that was something that Jake was always struggling with anyway. That's why we went back in and out of captivity. But the Lord didn't start with the Jake on the bottom. He didn't say, I'm gonna take away the hewer of water or the guy that was a blacksmith. He started at the top because it was the top rulership, the men at the top that were really going off doing things that they should not have been doing. Like the elder said in Ezekiel, in the book of Ezekiel, he told them to look through that hole, and these niggas is worshiping the sun.
Yeah, tripping,
bugging the fuck out, like better. And that's the thing, better. So then that's why these niggas are your leaders today, children, right? And obviously the children that are oppressing us are Esau, those terrible nations. But these are the niggas. Look at this shit, right? This nigga is like he had to be like damn near 40 or something back then when he was free, and he dressed like he was a teenager, like he going to high school. He probably was hanging out. You got niggas like Jim Jones, niggas like 50 years old,
a big kid.
He want to be a big kid, just a perpetual kid. So anyway, it says, going back to Isaiah 3:1, so behold, the Lord, Yahweh Bashan Shai of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff of the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and a counselor and a cunning artificer,
right?
And an eloquent orator.
You got a captain of 50 in the ancient world. Now this nigga in jail. Coming on and doing a podcast. Talking about don't follow his. Don't follow what I did.
Yeah.
Like the Lord brought us low, man. Like the way we're viewed, throughout the four corners of the earth, man. I mean, the mighty man, the man of war. Yeah. These niggas all coked up. John Jones, the man of war. They bugged the fuck out.
Yeah.
The mighty man, Mike Tyson, bugged all the way out.
He be doing frog. He be licking the backs of frogs.
Yeah.
Getting high, doing stupid shit, DMT. And he pushed that, right? Mind you, this man, when he was a fighter, he was supposedly in a peak of conditioning. You would think that a nigga would teach you how to be in a peak of conditioning. You ain't got to be a fighter, but instead of that, what he do? He just sit and smoke weed all day.
Right.
And then go to jail for rape because the nigga couldn't control himself.
All of these niggas are through. Serena Williams, after all of these years of being a pro athlete, she's now promoting a goddamn weight loss shot and not healthy eating.
Yeah, you see?
Through.
And that's going to push you, Jake, back right into the hands of Esau, into his medical industry. Again, thinking like children. This is another real quick precept. This is the book of, I had 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Right? Now, let me read this in the NLT and the AMP. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. You got grown-ass men and women reasoning like children, right? Because children are extremely impulsive. They're emotional, right? They need to be satiated. They need to be attention. They have a strong need for attention, right? And that's only because they're in a state of learning, right? So they can't really communicate in depthly like a grown person. And another thing too, when it comes to age, they added this thing called adolescence, right? In the ancient world, we didn't have something called adolescence, bro.
Right. You
became a man at 12. And I know it might seem like, oh shit, like people think of a man, you got your own crib, paying your bills and shit, you were working. No, but you were a man under the law. So now you were responsible for your actions and the things you did within the parameters and without the parameters of the law.
Right, and rulership families, rich families had basically a schoolmaster, someone that ultimately, before the father really fully stepped in, he was being trained up by this schoolmaster in the ways of the family. So he was learning moral standards. You know, he was hard on them. You
Yeah,
know, taught him how to fight, taught him certain skill. I mean, the father was there, but ultimately, once you became 12 years old, your mindset, you were ready to you could rule. That
yeah,
that was the concept back then. Josiah was 8 when he ruled as king. Imagine that, an 8-year-old.
yeah. I thought King Solomon was 12 too. He might have been. I don't know. I'm not sure. I got to look at how old he was. I thought he was 12. He was young when he get the throne there.
Oh, I didn't, man.
I'm gonna check it out. You got his one.
Nah, you got it.
How old was
Yeah,
King Solomon?
because and we'll get another scripture. We'll get Ecclesiastes 10 and 16 because niggas like this shouldn't. They got money. They got pull. They control the narrative. They help Esau with his pseudoscience. They lead. They're basically the majority of our people's faces up upon a bunch of goddamn losers, man.
Yeah, yeah. King Solomon was 15 years old when he hit the throne. Right when he ascended to the throne. Now you can't put a 15-year-old old on the throne and expect him to have wisdom. Now we know that wisdom was given to him by the Heavenly Father, his father Yahweh, right? But he asked for that, right? He had a dream what 15-year-old has a dream and asks the Lord for wisdom and how to guide his people. And the Lord said, since you asked for that, I'm gonna give you everything above any king before or after you, man, because you asked for wisdom. And now by the time you're 15 years old, you're supposed to have wisdom. The elder was talking about, a lot of these older guys that did a whole bunch of shit, acting like children their whole life, right? Doing childish things. These guys ain't moving in wisdom, right? They wait till they get to the pen, and then the nigga turn into Oswald Bates and talk about the aphrodisiac black man and all this other shit. Like, why you wait to then to get wisdom, right? Instead of using it when you was outside. And also it's a perpetual thing. Families not giving wisdom, like the elder said. You had tutors, you had people that was ruling over you, and they still have that. The elite bankers and their families, they don't go to public school. They don't even go to these high-level private schools, man. They get tutored in their home, right? And then when they're able to get of age, then they let them go out into the world to other places. But they have people there teaching them how to act. They have etiquette. They have classes on etiquette, like how to eat, how to, know the difference between the fork and the salad fork and the fruit fork, whatever they got some things going on. But they have people to guide them into manhood.
Mm.
And our guiders in manhood have been taken away from us. So what we have left today is a man, Esau, Edom. He guides your nation into perpetual childhood.
Through.
I want to play real quick. If you did you ask for? You said a precept. I'm gonna get that first, and then
But play what you got. Play what
I want to play this video. I want to play this video from Vlad TV. The nigga, I'm always going to that nigga page, and but he had a video with the nigga Chuck D, right? He had a video with Chuck D, and this is where I had got this term from. But let me play this real quick.
Fair use.
They said
Fair use. We're not making no money from this. Okay, this is for educational purposes only. Okay, so
distancing. Some people wanted social distancing for a long damn time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a different place, and OGs have a responsibility to be in their lane. And I feel that as an OG, be ready to counsel, be ready to advise. Don't always think that you got to lead. I think,
and that's another thing too. You get guys that forget their space. As you get, I'm 45, bro. You're not gonna catch me with a 21-year-old hanging out, running the streets, going to these clubs, parties, trying to be like him. A young man like that should look at an elder and aspire to be what an elder is, right? An elder statesman. You get a lot of guys that their roles are turned around because of this arrested development, right? Like he said, like you're supposed to be a counselor. But in order to counsel somebody, you got to have wisdom, right? And that's what the majority of Israelite men lack. They wisdom in everything. It's not until you come into this truth under through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai where you start to receive that wisdom and that tutelage. And all the things we do, we talk about health. Apostle Gabar was getting on us yesterday in the video, speaking about walking, healthy eating, healthy lifestyles. That's tutelage, right? How many of us grew up learning that? I ain't grew up. My dad and my grandma didn't teach me none of that shit.
Right.
All they gave me was fucking ham on Thanksgiving, a bunch of fucking carbs, sugars. You know what I'm saying?
Spaghetti with hot dogs chopped up in it.
Fuck
was that?
Some people in the South put sugar in their spaghetti. I don't know why.
I did it.
Yeah, just going off. Like, bro, I remember I'm about to say that. The Apostle of Heart got on us about that. He said, yo, man, if you put sugar in grits, man, hey, something's wrong with you, man.
I had spirits on me, I guess.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I liked it.
Yeah, sugar and grits. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, brother. I grew up like that. Put
modern day manna.
Yeah, modern day man. Put sugar on peas. My grandma or my mother, in order for me to eat certain vegetables when I was a kid, she put sugar on this shit. And you would think that peas ain't supposed to be sweet. They call it sweet peas, but they ain't supposed to be like the sugar that the ones you get in the can from Del Monte, them shits got sugar in it. What they high fructose corn syrup. They got a vegetable floating in shit, and then they give it to you, right? But then when you learn that there's better ways of eating, and how eating food is beneficial for your life, the longevity of your life, particularly eating good foods, good clean.
It's your
food.
medicine.
Yeah.
Food is your diet, is your medicine.
Yeah. Like I said, but we didn't know that until we got these two. That's why the Lord said He's going to send us pastors according to His heart that shall feed us with knowledge and wisdom. Right? Let me play this.
We're in the OG. Be ready to counsel. Be ready to advise. Don't always think that you got to lead. I think we're in the country and a nation and a hemisphere that does not encourage younger adults to take leadership. MTV and Viacom, I blame them for years for extending teenage years to 35.
Yeah, there you go. That TV, that television, pop culture, all that shit make you feel like you gotta be a kid, right? Like we said, like I was saying right here, where Slack here, hold on. Stop sharing. It showed how old King Solomon was when he ascended to the throne, right? And King Solomon had other brothers that were older than him, but the Lord chose King Solomon. So at the end of the day, that was the man that He wanted on the throne. But the point of the matter is, this man, he was 15 years old. Historical sources vary on the exact age, but the Wikipedia article notes that, King Solomon was approximately 15 years old when he ascended to the throne, according to Wikipedia. Right, and that's what it said. I thought it would say he was 12, but I gotta go back into the precepts and look. But nonetheless, I knew he was a young man, and so like Chuck D was saying, he said you gotta give young people a chance to lead, but they got to be taught. And because Esau don't want you Jakes to be leaders, right? He wants you to be in a perpetual state of childhood, of adolescence, of ignorance, right? He wants you to be in a state of arrested development. This is what you see the Jake is at. You look at it's the same thing with women. These women don't age past the age of 15. She be 50 years old, still trying to dress like she a hot thought, right? Trying to get out there in the club, want to dance.
Checking her husband's phone.
Yeah, checking her husband's phone, losing her fucking mind. Losing her mind, bro. You had a precept that you had mentioned.
It's a few. It gets Proverbs 16 and 31. But I'll read Sirach 30 and 3. It says, "He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy." You know what I'm saying? Esau don't like when Jake is taught, but in the ways of righteousness. And again, we always talk about culture. Culture is cultivate, and the way you cultivate a plant, all right, is important to the flourishing of it, And we were raised as wild olive tree. We were raised as a uncultivated, plant, But now that we've come into this truth, we've started a spiritual cultivation where it's a spiritual circumcision, but we're being cultivated. We're not living in a manner because we're being guided by wisdom now.
God.
That's the beauty of this thing of ours. We're now being guided by, and now we see the importance of leadership, order,
Yeah. Righteous leadership, and
righteous
righteous order.
leadership. Yeah.
What was that precept in Sirach? Saquon?
Sirach 30 and 3,
Khan, I got you.
you know, but
Right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right? It says
yeah, you teach your son that Esau hates that. That's why he broke up the household, the importance of fathers.
yeah. That's
You
why
know?
that's what I'm gonna bring out for. Verse 4 says, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself.
See? Forward in the same order, the same morals. That's
Yeah.
how legacies are passed down. And that's the importance of a mother to be the first teacher, because what is the mother nourishing the child with? The ways of the father, but she's doing it in the form of a mother in a nourishing way, but she's pretty much passing down the energy of the father to the child.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, pretty much, you know, once the child gets a certain age, then he gets the tutor, the schoolmaster, and then ultimately by the time he's 12 year old, he's on a level.
Yeah, he on a big level, high level.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the small hats do that. The small hats take their kids, especially when he's about to hit right before or even after he hits the bar mitzvah age. He go into his father's business. He in the back working. He getting associated with the people that work for his father. He's getting associated with the business. In fact, they be younger than that, and they be invested. They take this child, take his first little lemonade money or whatever business money that he had, and instead of letting them spend it on bullshit like video games and, you know, chicken nuggets, he's investing it in the fucking portfolio. So his portfolio is starting and growing as a child. So he knows what's going on, right? He knows the management of that business. It's the same way that Rothschilds do business, right? Not every Rothschild goes into banking, but they all get a portion and understanding of knowing what the system does.
Right. And inheritance is being passed down.
Yep. And inheritance being, and then Esau, he took out, our inheritance was taken from us, right? In this earth as we are now in captivity. So Jake, their inheritance is perpetual idiocracy, perpetual victimization, perpetual oppression, right? That's what you inherit, right? And like, instead of leaving a father of wisdom, leaving a son of wisdom as he passed on to the spirit world, you got fucking the most wickedest Jake having a son more evil than him. They got a nigga named Big Evil, and then they got a nigga named Little Evil or Baby Evil, right? Just evil, just 3 generations of evil.
Hella
running
evil.
around here. Yeah, hella evil, just wild, right? In that constant state. So I brought this, I mentioned arrested development, but let's read what it is. Arrested development is an abnormal state where an individual's physical, emotional, or mental growth stops prematurely, often at a younger stage of development. This can result from factors like trauma, neglect, or other environmental conditions that prevent the person from progressing through normal development stages, leading to ongoing childish behavior in adulthood. Right? You got Jakes that can't even balance their own budget within their house. You got Jakes that you learn that from your mother, because she ain't paying her bills on time, so now you ain't paying your bills on time. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get your way, so what you do, you act out emotionally, physically, right? You want your way. I saw a video of this woman, she couldn't get her way. She was slamming herself on the ground, grown-ass woman. Matter of fact, it happened to me in real life. I was in Walmart with some demon I was with back in the day in the world, and, I was low on money. I was in the army. I wasn't getting paid no real money. And old girl was like, I can't be poor, and just threw herself on the ground in Walmart and start having a hissy fit. I'm looking at this, be like, yo, get the fuck up, talking through my teeth like a parent. Like, if you don't get the fuck up off this floor, what's wrong with you?
Silly.
Right? But she grew up with a father and a mother, so apparently they didn't teach her shit. You know what I mean? But it's because she stopped growing in her mind. Something happened to her or whatever, where she stopped growing and her development stopped at a young age. So yeah, she was grown with some big boobs and all that other shit, but she was a child, right? So it says this can result from factors like trauma, neglect, or other environmental conditions that prevent the person from progressing through normal development stages, leading to ongoing childish behaviors in adulthood. Right?
Hey, you know that Jake is doing that in the truth too. They're
Yep.
undeveloped, they're undernourished, they haven't went through the sincere milk, they haven't got rebuked, they went through, they ran from counsel and order, and now they're a bunch of undeveloped adults trying to run camps and making a mess of the ministry.
Yep. Yep. That's what. Yeah, you got that going on. It's like one of the brothers said. Donald Custer said, mentally immature, and that's a big problem. To be mentally immature, it could destroy you, man. It could really destroy you and others, right? And you got these guys that have this insatiable need to be the guy in the front, but they don't really know what it takes to be the guy in the front. The sacrifice, right? The responsibility, right? There's a lot that goes into that. And only somebody who can't control itself, will even want that, because if you really knew what it took, you probably think twice. But instead, what you do, and then you get in that position, and then you make a mockery of the truth. You make a mockery of Yahweh Shai, right? You make a mockery of yourself. It ends badly with you, because you haven't grown. Well, the scriptures tell us to grow. It told us to grow thereby the sincere milk, right? I believe it says grow thereby the sincere milk. Let me see. Grow thereby. You got it, Zaquan.
Yeah, the sincere milk. It's important. And the Lord set up leadership, but the leadership got to be on point. That Proverbs 16:31 says the hoary head, or the silver haired, or the gray haired,
Yeah. I got you. I got it. Proverbs 16:31. The hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness.
There you go. If it be found in a way of righteousness, because they have the counsel. Ultimately, children need counsel. That's why the mother is the first teacher. She has the patience. The Lord gave her the makeup to deal with babies and to deal with children. But you come up on a level of a man, there's another level of counsel.
Yep.
And it has to come from men of experience.
Yep.
Experience is key. Ultimately, the Lord has given us apostles, bishops, and elders that have been through things, right? We may have thought, well, why can't the women be in a congregation? But they've been through the experience to see that ain't it. And they taught us, and now we see, yep, that was right. Certain experiences they've been through. Jake wanted to rap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Killer Priest. These are the niggas that was really in the industry, but they were Israelites. But they, the apostles can tell us, look, that shit not gonna work.
Yep.
They've been through these experiences, and now they can give us the necessary counsel, how to deal with women. All of that comes through the counsel of the aged, the elder.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely, man. This is a good illustration. It's from a brother GMS dedication. Subscribe to his page and be edified. But it says if I'm done with gender reveals forever. So this is a gender reveal, right? And you're gonna watch. You just play it. And this is folly too, right? This is folly. Right? All of this is folly. Grown ass people playing in the streets. And then Esau sitting there looking at him like, what the fuck's going on?
We're lost, we're it. If ever people were lost, we're it. Wait. Do something. There you go. Oh, what you doing, my boy?
Oh, man.
Look at this nigga. This nigga's through. A grown ass man. But this is how Jake is born in the world. Like a fucking baby. A grown ass man. I just want to get to this one point because he just do some stupid shit. Look at this shit. Look at this nigga, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. And that's why the Lord gonna kill you niggas, man. The Lord, Yahweh shall destroy people. This is the people that's destroyed. This is the people that's robbed and spoiled. Right? Because when's the last time you seen an Arab man doing this shit? When's the last time you seen a so-called Chinese man doing this shit? When's the last time you seen a so-called Assyrian, even a so-called white man? He dresses up as a baby, as a fetish. It's a sexual fetish for him. He's just a freak. you Jakes, you out here in hammer pants with a pacifier in your mouth, crawling and sliding underneath a fucking ambulance, bro.
That's too much.
Grown as shit out here acting like born as a baby for a gender reveal. And this shit got to be some satanic shit behind gender reveals, because this shit it ain't natural, bro. This is an abnormal way of living, right? A man of wisdom would never do this shit. Would never. They don't even play. There's a scripture that speaks about this is a man of understanding doth scarcely smile, something like, roughly paraphrasing. You know what I mean?
I'll find it.
This ain't no time to be playing. Right? Like the nigga Craig said in that movie Friday, because the nigga Smokey was in Arrested Development. He wasn't responsible. He was immature. He said, you run up and down the street all day playing. You think he playing about his money? You know what my mama stay? You know your mama stay? And both of them niggas was immature. One nigga stealing boxes, fucking up his check. Then he got to beg for $100. And then this nigga out here playing games with his life.
Yeah.
And they teach you to do this. And see, Chris Rock said it in a comedy show in the 90s, man. He said you can't even take a nigga to the movies without him shooting at the screen. A nigga look at a movie and think it's real life. So I gotta emulate this. I gotta imitate this. I'm gonna be the real life Scarface, right? The world is mine. I'm gonna be the real life Bishop from Juice.
And Scarface was a whole ass nigga.
Yeah, he was a demon.
Scumbag.
Piece of shit. Low life, man. Yahshua posted Ecclesiastes 21:20. A fool lift up his voice with laughter, but a wise man doth scarce smile a little. Right? Is this a GNT?
No, it's the same. I don't know why I did it twice.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I want to try to see this preset real quick in the GNT, because the GNT be hitting. Ecclesiastes 21:20. I got it real quick. Y'all can't see it, but I'm just looking it up. Ecclesiastes 21 verse 20. It says, but to a sensible person, it is like slacking. I'll start at 19. To a person without any sense and education. Oh man, you gotta read this. Hold on. Because niggas out here moving with no sense. Check this out. It's heavy right here. And it ain't nothing but wisdom and knowledge in the scriptures, bro. I'm telling you, man. It'll change your life, man. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. This is chapter 21, verse 19. Matter of fact, oh wow. I'll start at 13. A wise person's knowledge is like a river that never runs dry, like an ever-flowing stream of good advice. The scripture says, out of his belly shall flow rivers of water. He that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Yep.
Right?
John 7:38.
It says a wise person's knowledge is like a river that never runs dry, like an ever-flowing stream of good advice. A fool, and that's why the scripture says he is in Proverbs 1. You ain't got to get it, but it says about and fools hate knowledge. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and fools hate knowledge? Only a fool hate knowledge, right? You know, a wise person's knowledge is like a river that never runs dry, like an ever-flowing stream of good advice. A fool, on the other hand, has a mind like a jar with a hole in it. Anything he learns is soon lost. When an educated person hears something that shows insight, it stimulates his mind and leads him on to other ideas. But when someone who is satisfied with ignorance hears it, he won't like it and will forget it as soon as he can. And you see that a lot with Jake on the streets, right? They act like they want to listen to the truth, and they whatever they learn, it go one and out the other, right? Listening to a foolish person talk is like traveling with a heavy load on your back, but it is a pleasure to hear what intelligent people have to say. And this wisdom was given to us as a people. You would think it's starting with the Israelite man. Imagine if you had wise Israelite men walking this earth in vast numbers, man. That's what Esau would be done. That's why he keep you in this low state, so you'll never grow past a certain age mentally. So he keep oppressing you and destroying you, right? He'll have you niggas hate knowledge. Food, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Anyway, it says the assembly, the verse 17, the assembly will be eager to hear from an intelligent person and will take his opinion seriously. To an ignorant person, wisdom is useless, as a house going to ruin. He has never even thought about the things he is so sure of. To a person without any sense, an education is like handcuffs. But to
education, true wisdom is it restricts them from being wicked.
Yeah.
That's
why niggas hate the Lord. That's why these Jakes hate his word. That's why they hate his son. Right? Because in their mind, they think that they can't live. But you be like you had said in live stream preaching, I believe last week, it was like you had mentioned about women dealing with brothers in the truth. You said, look, you deal with me, hey, you're gonna be upgraded, right? You're gonna be elevated. And it's true. Right? If she was eating a whole bunch of carbs and a bunch of bullshit, when she get with this brother, hey, this brother, he throw down, all his meals are healthy and clean. As they can be on this side. So now what? Now her diet changed. Her emotional barometer is not all over the place. It's regulated now. Right? So you being elevated. Let me go back to this real quick. So, but when people who are without this truth hear that, they're like, oh man, you mean I can't eat what I want to eat? I like shrimp. I like crab. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It tastes good. You see? I can't do this. I can't be found in this. If I can't eat what I want to eat, it's handcuffs to a nigga.
Yeah.
Right? A nigga think like, but the Lord said, take upon you his yoke, for his burden is light. Because the burden of sin is extremely heavy. It's heavy on the mind, body, and soul. You see? So it says, wow. It says, to a person without any sense and education is like handcuffs, but to a sensible person, it is like gold bracelets. An intelligent person will smile quietly while a fool roars with laughter. A stupid person will peep into someone's house through the door and then march right in. But someone with experience and good manners will have enough respect to wait outside. You can't make this stuff up, right? Because Jake they don't again, going back to children, they don't practice restraint. You have to teach them restraint. They don't practice good manners. You have to teach them good manners. Like when you have children and they get something for somebody, the first thing you say to them is, what do we say? And they remember, thank you. That's right. And you keep it pushing. If they don't say thank you, you check them right then and there. What you doing? Hey, say thank you. And why is that? Is it just an empty word? No, it's a form of gratitude. It's a form of appreciation, right? Therefore, a person that sees that you have these manners, they'll be more than likely to help you out in the future. That's wisdom. You're looking ahead. You ain't looking back, right? That's what an adult thinks of. You got it, Zaquan.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And niggas are guided by children. Niggas are guided by niggas that need to be ruled over, that need to be told what to do. You know what I'm saying? Could we get that? Well, let's Sirach 10 and 16.
I got you. This is Sirach chapter 10, verse 16. Sirach chapter 10, verse 16. It says, the Lord overthrew countries. I'm sorry.
I mean Ecclesiastes 10 and 16.
Oh, Ecclesiastes. Con.
Yeah.
The book of Ecclesiastes 10 and 16. I actually got actually have that precept up, but I had it as I started at 5. But this is Ecclesiastes 10 and 16. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and the princes eat in the morning.
Right. A child, like childish. His whole kingdom is about his belly. He's not thinking of, he's not thinking about governing with a true. He's basically using rulership as a means to just feed himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say in the AMP it says, "Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child, and when your incompetent officials and princes feast in the morning." Yep.
They don't wake up thinking about the affairs of the kingdom. They wake up thinking about their lust, their pleasures, what they, how to win, and how to, just take and eat.
Mm-hmm.
When a moderate man fasts for a time before he eats, because the next verse
God.
it
Verse
said,
17.
you got it.
Blessed in the verse 17. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness.
See that? So when blessed is the land when the king, see the land is cursed because a child that needs to be ruled over is ruling, and then you niggas are cursed in a cursed position because you're not following the prophets. The scriptures say where there is no vision, the people, I forget how it's worded, but
I
where
got
there is the people perish.
Yep.
The vision is associated with divine communication. Like guidance from the heavens, and it's been given into the men of the Lord. So we've tapped back into our forefathers. We're being taught by the nobles, man.
Yep.
And having rulership is not so much about you know uh you, all right, but to guide the people too,
Yep.
and to make sure that the earth is in a healthy position, and the food is healthy, the children are safe.
Yep.
A nigga, he's just worried about, I'm for to eat, I'm for to get bitches.
Yeah. Nigga just worried about the perks.
Yeah.
Nigga he not worried about the responsibility. And the Lord said he gonna make us a kingdom of priests and king, a priest and kings, or a kingdom of priests. We're gonna be kings too, right? But we're not gonna be inept kings. We're not gonna be inept priests. We're gonna be on a level. We're gonna be 100% valuable to Yahweh Shem Shai. Everything we do is gonna be in wisdom, right? In the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai. In our kingdom, you're not gonna have a 40-year-old man thinking like he's a child. You're not going to have a 40-year-old woman stuck in arrested development. Everybody going to be born on the levels. Like in this society, when they talk about, not trying to be controversial, but when they talk about young girls, right, past that flower age, around 12 and 13, between 12, 13, or even 14 at sometimes, you look at a 12 and 13 or 14-year-old girl in this society, she can't even wash her ass properly.
She don't know nothing about being a woman.
She don't know anything about being a woman until your blood drop. Then her mom give her a pad or something like that. Put this on. But there's a responsibility that comes behind that. Right now that you're going to start, you're supposed to walk the child through it. You're going to start feeling hormonal changes within yourself. You're going to have what they call that shit when your mood swings.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to start developing. If you haven't already started developing, you're going to start developing, and these things are going to happen. Now, understand that if you have sex, because that's what your body is drawing you to, you don't understand that your natural body, the hormones and the chemicals in both men and women bodies are causing them to become one, right? That's why when you go outside, you be all excited in your loins because you ready. Your body's telling you it's time to procreate. When I see certain things, especially if a woman is in the heat. Same thing happened with animals. Animals see what the male knows when the female is in heat, and the female gets in heat, she start acting weird, like crazy, because she's ready to procreate. But then there's a responsibility that comes behind that. And so by the time you hit 12 in the ancient world, or 13 or 14 in the ancient world, you knew how to, as a young lady, a young woman, you knew how to guide a house, You knew how to attend to children. You knew how to plant. You knew how to harvest. You knew how to gather water. You knew a lot of things. You were very intelligent, right? You knew how to properly wash and bathe yourself, right? You knew to abstain from certain things. Now, people in this world will look at that as archaic. Oh, they can't. When are they going to live? When are they going to have fun? It ain't about fun. We ain't here for fun. Now, there's obviously things happen where they're enjoyable, but it's not about fun. It's about learning. It's about forwarding your lineage, right? It's about forwarding your family structure.
The will of the Lord. Forwarding the will of the Lord.
That's right. That's right. So it says in Proverbs 29:18, where there's no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. In the NLT, it says, when people do not accept divine guidance, they run wild.
Woo!
That's cool, right? They run wild. But whoever obeys the law is joyful, man. And this is what you see in any ghetto USA. In any ghetto USA, you see nothing but a bunch of men and women running wild, right? Even the children that are below 12, right? They're running wild, running rampant.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the people that's not guided properly. Right. And this is done on purpose. You got it, Glenn.
They have no foresight. They have no they're not prudent.
Right.
They don't think about how the now affects the future,
Right.
It talks about, this brother posted the virtuous woman. The word virtuous means manly. Ultimately she had that's the way a man thinks. He's prudent. So the virtuous woman for her household, she when you look up the word, vitality or virtue, it really goes into if you go to the Edom online. Let's get it in the Edom online. I like that better than talking
vitality or
virtuous. I learned this from that brother in New York, Yaikwab. OUS, not the I. Yeah.
Okay.
OUS.
Virtue.
OUS.
Virtue. I got you. Right here. So it says virtuous. Virtuous characterized by vigor or strength, full vitality, also having qualities befitting a knight, valiant, hardy, courageous. Since now obsolete from the old French, virtuous, righteous, potent, of good quality, mighty, valiant, brave. From the Latin, virtuous, good, virtuous. From the Latin, virtus, moral strength, high character, goodness, manliness.
Manliness in an aspect of manliness is prudence.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Go ahead. So the virtuous woman.
You got it. I'm sorry.
Well, even that mother in the book of Maccabees, it says she stirred up her she had a manly spirit about her. That's going into being virtuous, because the decision she made wasn't based upon her pleasures. It was based upon a foresight, meaning ultimately we're going to be raised back up in the ladder. That's a manly mind.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. I was going to say I had shared this image. Well, I had shared this image. You can't see it right now, but I shared this image with the brothers on WhatsApp, and this woman named LaShonda. She said virginity doesn't make a woman valuable. Her mindset, morals, and actions do. Purity isn't between her legs; it's how she lives, and that's a woman of no virtue. That's a woman of no value that would say that. Because what does virginity shows in a woman, especially if she above 12 and she's still holding on to her virginity for a right man? That's discipline. It takes discipline to keep your legs closed, right? She knows her value. Like I'm not just going to lay down with anybody and give him seed and because of how I'm feeling or because of how he's feeling. No, she knows her value, right? And it shows she does have high moral standards, right? Not high standards like they teach in this world, which high standards is just you got to have a bunch of money or access to resources. No, right? But she knows she has high moral standards and that's purity. All together, that's purity, right? In our ancient culture, being a virgin was virtuous, and if she had played the harlot outside the house, it took virtue for not only from her, but even her own family. Like, this how you let your kids run around, your daughters run around? This what you doing over here? That's what it looks like. It's bad on the father, right? So, having a virtuous mindset is a valuable thing. And like the Zaquan said, manliness. When you read 2 Maccabees chapter 7, and you see how that woman stood up against the enemy, right? And he killed all her sons in front of her. And I believe she died before the last one died, right? And she said, look, be manly. She encouraged them to be men. She didn't encourage them to quit. She didn't encourage them to, bitch out. None of that. And she had that kind of virtue. And you want a woman like that behind you, right? But you got it, Zaquan.
No, that's it. That's where were we in Proverbs?
We in Proverbs. Back in Proverbs 28.
Or Ecclesiastes.
Yep. Was it the one where Sirach 10 and 16, the Lord overthrew countries and heathen and destroyed them.
I'm tripping, bro. I mean, Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
I see ECC and it automatically think Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, it happened to me too, brother. So back in Ecclesiastes chapter 10. I guess
read 16, read 17 again, and then 18. Then read 18.
Verse 17. Yep. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. And that shows restraint and moderation, right? And even it's a great book that you don't got to read the whole book, but if you go to and I learned this from Elder Apostle Ramla about the Basilica Duran. You heard about that book, King James? No. So it's basically a letter that he wrote for his first son that died.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So when you read that, it tells you how he's supposed to be as a king, right? He instructed his son in the noble ways of being a king, right? And he never once did he tell him to overindulge, to walk around in drunkenness. He didn't tell him that, right? And that's how a noble is. And the Lord, I'll get it after this. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. Even Apostle Gabar told us that yesterday in that video in his walking talk. He said fruit is seasonal. You ain't supposed to be eating particular fruits all year long. You're supposed to get it in its due season, right? Now, I'm not sure what effect it has on a body in that particular season, but a lot of things are out of whack and out of course because this man, he's a child. All he wants to do is satisfy his need for profit and his want and desire for profit. So he keeps certain fruits going year round when it's out of season. And the scripture speak about being out of season, right? To every it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter it was either 3 or 12. Yep, a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Right? So everything has its course, right? But they don't teach you that. It's a time to be a child, and there's a time to be a man, right? There's a time to be a girl, and there's a time to be a woman. And there's extreme differences between the two. Okay? One's a level of immaturity, another one is a level of maturity, right? However you want to pronounce it, maturity. So you got to understand that. Going back to Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. By much slothfulness, the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands, the house droppeth.
And that's what happened to Jake. You see, idleness, man. So the men of the Lord put a spirit on us to work, and the works is, forward in the ways of righteousness, working, building, doing the videos, putting the mindset in Jake, and that's led to the building being built, man. Shit ain't gonna get done through a nigga, man.
Nah, niggas can't. A nigga that's stuck in Arrested Development And I ain't talking about that group from the 90s, everyday people. No. A nigga that's stuck in Arrested Development, he's not a factor. And Esau don't even fear him. He don't fear that man. He don't fear a man that's stuck in a state of Arrested Development. I'm trying to find out where this is at. So yeah, a man like that, a man that's stuck, that's like this, he don't care about him. Well, he's in prison now, right? He don't care about a nigga like this, a 50-year-old man. He got hoary hair, but he ain't wise. Like this dude ain't wise. You see, I had looked up pictures of Jim Jones, the rap, because he was a lot of people. Matter of fact, the nigga Nas got a song called what is it called? I believe it's called like Lost Childhood or something like that. Hold on, Nas Lost. I don't know. He had a song regarding about that, and it kind of talked about the nigga Jim Jones. If I find it, I'll post it up. But a man like this, like he's in his hoary ages, man, and he never grew past the age of 18, maybe that, right? Smoking, destroying his body, but he working out. So that's an oxymoron. The nigga works out heavy, but he smokes, so his lung capacity got to be fucked up. Because you're not supposed to inhale smoke, right? He concerned with vanity, vainglory. He idolizes the worst of our people, El Chapo. Nigga got a chain for El Chapo, right? He can't stop gangbanging. You get niggas, bro. I seen a nigga on YouTube. This nigga had to be like damn near 60. Not YouTube, TikTok. Fucking gangbanging in the house.
Look at Alizar.
Yeah, the nigga Alizar. Yeah. Dressing like a child. Right, it's you know, and this because a nigga just want to capture the old days. He want to capture that youth, right? And that nigga Jay-Z told these niggas back then. He said something, but y'all can bullshit with rap if you want, motherfucker. He said that because a lot of guys never went past the rap level, which is a youthful man sport anyway. So the nigga started investing. He started diversifying his portfolios, and these niggas They never grew past that. They just wanted to look good, shiny, and have street credibility, right? And then, but nigga, you get older. You're gonna get older, and this shit is not cool. Walking around with your heads braids out, nigga crying on fucking TV and shit.
Right.
Listen, man, you ain't supposed to do no shit like this. You a man. Hold that shit in. You ain't supposed to show this side of you, this vulnerable side of you. But then this is what children do. I'm mad I didn't get my way, so let me act like a child. And they push this spirit on you. They push this Arrested Development spirit on you, man. Right? I think it's called Lost Childhood. Lost Childhood lyrics. I believe it's called Lost Childhood. Oh, Second Childhood. And the nigga had a song called Second Childhood. It says, let me see. He said, yo, dude is 31, living in his mom's crib. Ex-convict was paroled there after his long bid. Cornrows in his hair, still slinging. Got a crew. They break his mom's furniture watching Comic View. The nigga be laughing. Oh, that shit was funny, nigga. Knock your mom lamp over and shit. Fuck a table up. Got babies by different ladies. High smoking elves. In the same spot he stood since 84. Well, when his stash slow, he be crazy, saying he by his mom's hitting her on payday. Asking your mom for a check money. Junior high school dropout, teachers never cared. They was paid just to show up and leave. No one succeeds. So he moves with his peers, different blocks, different years, still sitting on different benches like it's musical chairs. All his people moved on in life. He's on the corners at night with young dudes it's dumb he want to be like. So instead of the young men want to be like the older men, like nigga Chuck D said, the old niggas want to be like the young kids.
Yeah.
They want to be YNs. That's what they call Jim Jones, the oldest YN. It says it's sad, but it's fun to him, right? He never grew up. 31 and can't give his youth up. He's in his second childhood. You see? And it's the same thing with the woman, right? It's the same thing with the woman. It says, baby girl, she's always taking name. She's always talking, name dropping, hanging late, drinking, smoking, hates her baby daddy, craves shopping, popping, ecstasy, taking, won't finish her education. Best friends, she keeps changing, stuck with limitations, lusting men, many hotels, Fendi, Chanel, with nothing in her bank account, fronting, so she do well. Her kid suffers. He don't get the love he deserves. He the sun, she the earth, single mom, even worse. No job, never stay working, mad purity, shorty, they call her the brain surgeon. Time flying, she the same person, never matures. All her friends married, doing well. She's in the streets yakety yakking like she was 12. Honey is 27, argues, fights, selfish in her own right for life. Guess she's in her second childhood. And that's the problem with Jake. Right? You grown as shit. And the scriptures speak about all these things. All the things we just read, or I just read through this right here in his lyrics, it shows you that this dude, he has some insight, man, back then. Right? And what he was taking insight was from the things that was around him, his neighborhood. And this is what you have Jake in a second childhood, right? They never grow up. Meanwhile, the enemy is growing. This nigga's growing, he's bubbling. He be like 35 years old, a billionaire, because his family set him up straight. It's not about the money, but he took at some point in life, he had to take something serious. And that's the same thing with Jake. We telling you about repenting, salvation. This is something you're supposed to take serious. Turning back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, calling on his name, keeping his word, and applying it to your life. That's the most important aspect of this truth, is to apply it to your life first. Right? Before you can just go out there, talk, yell, and scream at everybody else, you got to turn the mic on yourself, bro. Turn the camera on yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and grow. Right? And I'll get this and then I'll pass it back to you. By the sincere, by the sincere milk, KJV. This is I believe it's First Peter chapter 2, verse 2. First Peter chapter 2, verse 2. It says, I'll start at 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
Hey, well, look up that word milk.
And
desire the sincere milk. Milk. I mean, you can look it up. We don't have to look it up, but it's vital to the development of a child's brain. The Lord gave the breast milk to help nourish the child until it came to a certain age where we then can switch to other things. And Jake hasn't been nourished with nothing, man, but 40 ounces. All right. Bad music, confusion, rebellion. Niggas think the earth is millions of years old. Niggas think monkeys, they was once monkeys. Niggas are all over the place.
Yep.
But when we come into this truth, we become like babes, man, and we get the milk needed, to lead, to be in a position of teaching, man.
Yeah. So it says the word for milk there is galah, right? Galah. And it says milk, metaphor for the less difficult Christian truths.
Which people think these things aren't important. All right, they want to get to the deep breakdowns and all of these various different things. But those less difficult truths, wisdom is important.
Yeah.
It may not take, you going into the 7 heads and 10 horns and all of these various different things, but it's key. It's vital, man.
That's right.
It's key to you, being a brother, learning how to take the low, learning the way of Yahweh Shai, learning to make your body a living sacrifice, learning how to take rebuke, get cursed out, take criticism, take counsel. All of these things are important. And Jake don't have this in their culture, man.
Nah. And then like you'll get like Jake from West Africa, they'll ask a so-called African American, well, what is your culture? He said you have no culture, and Jake get offended by it, but it's the truth because the culture that you've learned is from somebody else, right? There's a video, you don't got to get it, but there's a video that talks about how basically the slaves in America adopted the customs and the mannerisms of the lowest level Edomites, and how the Edomites back then, they were drunk, they were violent, they gambled, they ate in public, they were just wild. A lot of Jake picked up those low level Edomite qualities, because see, Esau could have put it the other way. But I always say this: I believe, and I speak as a man, I believe Esau learned from the Middle Ages not to allow Jake to get up into nobility and structure, right? Because they'll take it over. So what they do, they keep Jake at the lowest level or lowest denominator, mentally, physically, and spiritually as possible, to keep ruling over them in perpetuity. So the habits that Jake picked up came from a lot of the poor Edomites that was in the South, from their eating habits to their loud, obnoxious way of talking and being. They weren't refined. And Jake, not every Israelite was in the house with the master and witnessing, reading, and looking at them and mimicking their ways. The majority of Jake was in the field, right? Field workers, doing work and working with the hired help, which was the low class Edomites. You know what I mean? And so the behavior that Jake exemplifies today is that of a low level Edomite.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you act like, a heathen. You act like a heathen. And then you're not growing. You're not growing by that. None of that stuff that they do in the world. It's not until you come into this truth where you start to grow. And like Paul was saying, Peter, the Apostle Peter was saying, it says, what? Desire the sincere milk of the word, right? The sincere, because this word is sincere. It's truthful. And by that, you're going to grow by. You're going to see a change in you, right? If you was, you come into this faith, when you first come in, you might be irresponsible with your bills and payments. Apostle Hart said that, man. You got to make sure you paying them bills, man. Pay your car note. Now, brothers fall on hard times and things happen, but you shouldn't be in the mindset of saying, like, look, I'm just not going to pay this and just let it slide over. And then next thing you know, your car getting repoed, your house, you getting evicted out your crib because your lights getting turned off. Like, you should know that, hey, look, I got to go to work and I got to maintain my household so that I can continue to do the work. Right? We all got to work out here. You shouldn't be in a mindset of saying that, like, look, I don't know how to talk to people, right? I don't know how to control my spirit when I'm around people. Like, you can't be like that. You got to grow. And brothers will see it. We'll see it, and we'll see it in ourselves if it happens. We'll see it amongst other men if it happens. Pull them to the side. Hey, bro, what's going on? You all right? And then let them know, hey, this is what you did, man. Hey, you can't be like that, bro. Like this, and why? Because we're growing. We're men, right? The Lord said right here in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 22. I'm sorry, Jeremiah 2 and 21. Yet I planted thee a noble vine, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine? Like, you look at a nigga like this. This is a degenerate plant. He's passed on. He's in the spirit world, right? A nigga like this, he's gonna die. He's gonna go back to the spirit world, right? This is a degenerate plant. This not a Israelite in his right mind. This is a degenerate plant right here. But the Lord planted us to be a noble seed, right? You look up that word for noble vine, right? That word for noble vine in the Hebrew, the word there is sharak, right? And it says choice species of a vine, choice grapes. So we're supposed to be the choice species of man on this earth, right? It says in a sense of redness, properly one yielding the richest variety. That's what the Lord created us to be. But when you look at Jake now, particularly the Israelite men, because a lot of you women, you hear these videos and the first thing you're like, what about the man? You ain't got to worry about that. We talk about the men. We educate the men. We rebuke the men. You women are just as big as a problem as the men of Israel. But it starts with us. right? You don't have to stay in a constant state of arrested development. You got too much information out here. You got too much information. You got too many options out here today to be in a constant state. And it's crazy. This shit happened, I would say, like at least in the last 50 years. Because you go back to the 1940s and the 1950s, Jake was fucking responsible, bro. Jake wasn't out here just doing what they wanted to do, man. We were taking care of our homes. We were taking care of ourselves. We were dressing correctly. You got Jake out here 50 years old with his pants hanging off his ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? Walking around drunk in the streets. I ain't saying every Israelite was super responsible, but for the majority, it was like that. Even in their clothes and they disposition, right? You wouldn't even tell a dude was 15 years old because he looked like he was 30 and acted like he was 40. You got it, Zaquan.
Yeah. Nah, you got it, bro. Shit.
Yeah. So like you got this going on. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. Right? It says, and that's pretty self-explanatory. If thou wilt hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thy ear, thou shalt be wise. Bow your ear to what? To this word of wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai. You're gonna be wise. Stand in a multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So you got to be able to have that discernment to know which older man is a wise man, and that's the one you cleave to, not to nobody that's an OG, triple OG, a nigga that done been in and out of prison and don't fear going back. He just love to go in there, like that nigga 4 Extra. He just love the prison house, right? He won't stop until you take him off the earth. No, but to a man that fear the Lord, a man that desires the sincere milk of Yahweh Shem Shai. That's
right.
what you're supposed to be that's what you're supposed to get behind. You got it, brother.
Nah, that's it. Wisdom, the scriptures talks about we are taught the things that are pleasing unto the Lord.
Yeah.
And it's better, it's safer, when wisdom is being applied. Niggas think, they're prudent, they think before they react, it's just a better environment, and culture where wisdom, and the fear of the Lord is really all based upon the fear of the Lord, man.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas, when you lack fear of the Lord, there's no boundaries,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the scripture says a child left to his own will become willful. You know what I'm saying? Verse 35 says, be willing to hear every godly discourse and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man verse 36, and if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. So that means you constantly going there and you seeking knowledge. And you looking at learn and glean from him. Right? That's what you're doing, man. And in the last verse 37 says, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart, which is your mind, and give thee wisdom at thy own desire. See? And that's it, man. That's why the scripture says that when these nations see us practicing these laws to one amongst each other, they're going to say, surely it's a wise and understanding people. They're going to say that. That's Deuteronomy chapter 4. Right? When you look at Jake today, man, these niggas this ain't a man like this is not a wise and understanding person. Right? And Esau knows what he's doing. This is why woe to him that give his neighbor strong drink that he may look upon his nakedness. He gives you these images to put together because this dude didn't say, no, I'm going to get a pacifier and suck on it through the movie. And then let him call me Dookie. No, dude, this is a character. He's not even the person he's playing is not a real person. Doughboy wasn't a real person. But yet you can go to any ghetto USA and find a Dookie, a Doughboy. You might even find a Trey. Right? Trey had his daddy, so that was better.
Right.
He had his father. His mother gave him up. She couldn't deal with it. I think he acted up in school and she just got tired of it. That's a woman for you, right? And then she sent him to his father. His pop put him in order. He let him go outside, but he had him in order. He almost succumbed to the streets Duwadi Yahweh Shem Shai, he didn't. Right? He went to college and passed his THCs. Yeah, he went to college and shit, but he became a director. Ultimately, that guy was John Singleton. He became a film director. He was a freaky nigga. He's in Hollywood, but he didn't turn into Doughboy. That nigga Doughboy disappeared at the end of the movie. Every day they don't know, don't show, or just don't be caring what be going on in the hood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset, man. And you ain't gotta be like that, bro. Even Jake think that it's gonna be money and his influence and power is gonna get them what they want to be. The neighborhoods used to be so peaceful, so much peaceful back in the day, bro. Like not during my time, because I lived in the 80s during the crack epidemic. Like I was born in late 79, so I lived through the 80s and 90s and the 2000s and all that stuff. But you talk about people like in the 60s and the 70s, they used to say that they could leave the doors open, everybody knew each other, everybody conversed, the men went out and worked, it was order. And that's a main piece of it. The elder had brought out earlier the precept where it says, he that teacheth his son grieveth his enemy.
Right.
Esau took the man out the house on purpose because he didn't want to be grieved by younger men growing up behind him. And if they did, they needed to be the ones that's ordering them around. They need not you. So the state became your father, right? The state became your provider, your protector, and it did none of those things for you. What it do? Give you some fucking hard ass government cheese that don't even melt with fire, right? Constipate you up, just destroyed you, gave you crack, gave you hip hop. Remember that video I shared with you earlier? Shit. The video of let me see if I can find it. I had the BET commercial, bro. When Bob Johnson and his wife was behind it, BET commercial from I believe it was the 80s. It had to be like the 80s or the 90s. In the 90s. Hold on. It was a BET commercial. A commercial for BET. It had to be like the 80s because I think it started in the 80s. BET was a whole different platform, bro. The news and all that. I can't find it, but you got to get your own. There was a BET. There was a commercial for BET, and Black Entertainment commercial break. No, it was like a commercial spot. I don't know where I shared it. I think I might have shared it on. Anyway, I shared it with the Zaquan. And BET was a whole different network. It was a whole different platform than BET is no existence today. It got sold to Esau, and Esau just did nothing but pump poison in there. We used to have something called Teen Summit.
Right.
Teen Summit, that shit was good. It would give you like advice on how to grow as a teenager. It give you somebody that obviously a music person, but then it was like they was just trying to put the teens on to how to just protect themselves growing up. Esau took that shit off and gave you BET Uncut. So now you looking at a big ass nigga asking what that thing smell like. You know what I'm saying? Watching Nelly put a fucking debit card through a stripper's ass crack. Right? But you had good shows, man. I wish I could show that video, but nonetheless, Esau did this on purpose, bro. Because television programmed you Jakes to be the way you are. So now you just sin and iniquity is on autopilot. You don't need Esau right there with you putting hell on you. You put it on yourself. And you don't have to. You don't have to. Come back to your how about Shem Shai and learn and be diligent. And this is for the men. I'm speaking to you men. Right? Fear your how about Shem Shai, keep his commandments. That's the duty of all men, of all Israelite men. You got it, Zaquan.
That's it. Shit, I'm.
And with that, man, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, double honor to the apostles and the bishop, elders, a great millstone for teaching his word. Citation to the elect. Keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Hey, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.